Hello everybody, and welcome to today's tutorial on assemblies. So to start off with, our assembly tab is located between Insert and Analysis, and has Align, Center, and Orient. So to start off with, the key piece of knowledge you need to know is that you assemble components in SpaceClaim, not parts. So the difference is, a part would be any solid, whereas a component would be a solid under a part. Notice that I can drag a solid between components and bring them back. So let's start off to assemble these components together. So I'll start off and assemble the block to the tube. So the way that assembly works is that I pick one face and I control select another. So I'm basically assembling face 1 to face 2. So I'll click Align and our green box pops into place. So now I'll do the same with our cylinder and combine this first surface to the second one and hit center. So now let's go ahead and assemble our purple box. So this time I'm going to click on the purple edge and I'll click on the orange edge here. So you'll see with the edge of a cylinder I can do the align and center at once because it defines an axis and a plane. So now we have everything assembled, we'll go ahead and move our tube. Notice when I rotate it, the blocks stay assembled. I can rotate one way or rotate the other. If I want to, I can even drag our move tool over here, and notice just the purple box rotates because the axis isn't changing on our green box. But let's look at our third assembly condition, and that's orient. So you'll notice that I have two faces here. So once a block or anything is centered, you can then orient one of the faces. So I'll orient this purple face to the orange one and hit orient, and notice our orient directions pops up in the assembly tree. So now you'll see when I go ahead and move the tube, notice that the purple face, the top of it, is changing, whereas the green face on top is staying parallel to the initial position. So this allows you to decide which face you want to stay in a particular direction. So now let's examine some more things in assembly. So maybe I've changed my mind and I want this face to be aligned here. So I'll try to align them, and notice that our new aligned planes has a yellow triangle next to it, and you see it's not meeting that assembly condition. But if I turn off our last aligned planes, it snaps into place, showing that you can over-constrain a model and choose which one you want it to be assembled to at what time. So let's go ahead and delete this condition I set up. I'll delete that mating condition, and instead let's look at the properties of our first aligned plane. So if I right click and I go to properties, you can see that I can create an offset with this align. So let's type in 10 millimeters, and notice that it pops down, but this plane is still aligned to the first one we chose, it just now has an offset. So let's go into our second way of assembling components. So you'll see I have two solids set up, and I want solid 1 on top to rotate about this axis. So the way I can do that is I can place an axis in that component. I'll activate component 1, select the edge, and put an axis in. And I'll do the same with component 2. I'll activate it, select that same edge, and put another axis in. So now I can go ahead and select axis and select the second axis, and I'll center them together. Now notice we have a center axis pop up, but if I go to move the solid, it really doesn't look like I did anything, and the solid's moving freely. But now if I go to move that component, the component is assembled together, and you'll see that it's centered on that axis. So this is one more way you can assemble components in SpaceClaim. Thank you for watching.